Welcome to another PumpHouse Theatre Virtual Creative Talk. My guest today is no stranger to the PumpHouse as a performer and a visual artist. She and her partner have an agreement never to be in the kitchen at the same time, which may or may not have affected her success with a pavlova. She favours jumpsuits as her fashion du jour, but not if they're purple. She took the world by the scruff of the neck about 18 months ago, leaving behind a career in mechanical engineering to become a performance poet and illustrator. Originally a shore girl, she comes to us today from windy Wellington, where she now lives. Welcome, Rose Northey. Hi.
Hey, how's it going again, Mags?
I'm fine. So, Rose, tell us about your involvement with the arts.
Well, I got involved very early. When I was quite young, I had more of a prominent lisp, and so my parents put me into speech and drama, and it has strange butterfly effects on my life because now I'm doing it pretty much, I'm doing it full time, just with the kind of the theatre and the speech and the writing and the illustration kind of creating some sort of strange meal in itself. Yeah, and I grew up doing local theatre, and really grew into theatres like the PumpHouse and Marini Players, and the PumpHouse was actually the place that I first performed at. I was a teapot in Beauty and the Beast when I was 5 years old. And then when I was about 13, started doing kind of local theatre performances. Love that, love creating something in a group. It's a great way to try out lots of different creative aspects. I know that you're no stranger to technical aspects in the theatre, Max.
Well.
So I did props and producing and directing, and like when I was at school, maybe a bit of writing, and a lot of acting. It's a great way to build confidence, and there's like so many different community groups out there. It's just like wonderful for dipping your toes into all sorts of things. But it always felt like a bit of a hobby until I got to the point in my engineering career where I couldn't stop thinking about it. I was like, well, guess I'm gonna have to take the plunge. So yeah.
Very brave thing to do.
People keep saying that, yes. I feel like at the time though, I felt like I couldn't give my all to engineering anymore because it was, the arts was sort of taking over my mind, and I knew that I was really trying my best, but I knew that, it wasn't sustainable, so I really needed to just like give it a good go, and then kind of like either kill that what if, like, what would my life be like if I had gone down a different path, or figure out that engineering is the right move for me. So, who knows where I'll be in 20 years time, but I'm enjoying the journey.
Great.
Yeah.
And I can see from your face that you're having a really good time being an artist.
I love it. Yeah, I love it.
I love it.
Yeah.
So what kind of arts are you involved with now? Are you still performing as an actor, or is it more the performance poetry?
I wish I was still performing as an actor sometimes, but I haven't performed as an actor in a long time. I think what was the last show that I did? It could have been Midsummer Night's Dream, actually, in 2017.
Wow.
Which was, that's the longest time that I've gone without doing a show since I was, not a teenager. Since I was preteen. But pretty much just been doing poetry, which has kind of performing aspects in it. I don't often do shows with other people, which is the thing that I think is such a shame to miss out on, but it's also lovely to, create something from scratch yourself, from conception, what do I want to write about, to actually sitting down and doing that and editing and perfecting and then working on performance and then really just giving it your all on stage and seeing how it goes. That's a beautiful thing. But I do miss the cast and having that cast family that you used to get when I was acting.
So performance poetry. I know you've done a couple of stints up at the PumpHouse, and you're also quite well known on the Wellington scene. Is that true?
Well, I'm lucky in that the poetry community is quite small. So I guess I'm well known, but it's also we know each other in a way. But yeah, I've had maybe 3 people say I've overheard them say that I'm famous, which is hilarious. I think if you know performance poetry in New Zealand, it's you might know me. But if you're not aware that it even exists, you probably don't know me. Yeah.
You've got to start somewhere.
Oh, it's so much fun. Yeah. I'm sort of getting to know Wellington. I moved here about a year ago, and the community is just growing so fast, and it's already like super big in Auckland. There's like pockets of poetry all over New Zealand that are kind of opening up and discovering their feet, and it's like a really exciting hobby. To have. Well, not hobby, I guess it's a job, isn't it? So, yeah,
but it must be exciting if you can kind of say, think that your job is a hobby. I think that's the kind of work aspiration we all have, is to be somewhere where we don't feel we're at work. That's cool. So you've added on to that side, added on a sideline, or maybe it's growing to illustration. So you tell us a little bit about that.
Yes. So I've always loved drawing. My family draws. I used to draw with my grandpa, and my mum is a painter, so kind of had it in my family. And I guess when I started, I quit my job. The original intention was to focus mostly on my poetry, and then to do a couple of odd jobs to pay the bills. And so I started doing a little bit of illustration, and I was so surprised by how quickly it kind of took off. And also my reaction to it as well. The process, the difference between writing and illustrating is so different, so huge. When I'm writing, it really requires me to be in a really good mood, to have a clear mind, to be sort of like in the zone and stress-free. And you can only really write for me, I can only really write for about maximum 5 hours a day, and that's if I'm just really powering through.
That's a lot of writing.
Yeah, it's not often that happens. It's like leading up into a show or something. Generally it's a bit smaller and kind of more in little chunks. With the illustration, I found that, I was doing like 13-hour days at the beginning. Like, you can just go and go and go because it's doing something with your hands. There's thought, but there's a lot of kind of like just going through the process and putting the strokes down on the paper. So it's quite meditative. So it took off in the way that there's lots of demand for it. Surprisingly, lots of people need pictures, or it's like a gift. And I also discovered that I really loved it and found it that it took quite a lot of put a lot of joy, but like calm joy, into my day. So I've been doing lots of that.
And you've been noticed from overseas for your drawing, I believe, as well. A certain Pride tweeted about one of your pictures.
Oh, right, yes. I've been drawing birds a bit, and so Stephen Fry had or witnessed an incident with a kakapo called Sirocco, I think, and Sirocco really likes people's heads. And You should look up the video. Just
I,
Google
I,
Stephen
I actually
Fry
saw the
kakapo.
program when it happened.
Yeah, it's so good. And so he tweeted my winking kakapo picture as a part of the Bird of the Year campaign in New Zealand to support the kakapo. And so that was like crazy. I just jumped up and like ran around the room screaming. And I was in a public place, so people were like, "What is going on?"
Hey, not many people can say they've been tweeted by Stephen Fry. So it's pretty cool.
Oh, surreal, yeah.
And we at the PumpHouse have also benefited from your beautiful talents, because you designed our sticker picture that people who may have been in the last few months before we had to have a break may have already got a sticker. And so what inspired you to draw that with the PumpHouse?
Well, I mean, I have such I love my relationship with the PumpHouse because I mean, like I said, the first show I did in it was when I was 5, and then when I was 15, I think I did a Shakespeare play there, and I've done a couple of Shakespeares over the years in the PumpHouse. And also just like the whole area, the park, and the look of the bricks and the chimney and things is so nostalgic to me, and it's such like an icon of my childhood. So I guess I love, so when I was asked to do the picture, I kind of wanted to bring that fun sort of feel of like going and seeing all of the animals, but also like having a little bit of culture with like the Shakespeare quote coming in, and that like feeling of looking up at the PumpHouse and like having this like big colorful sort of structure on a sunny day. So that was what I really tried to capture. But it's been quite lovely for me to have like lots of different pieces of involvement with the theatre, and I did my first solo show there earlier this year as well, which was like super great. And it feels, I guess it's a cool thing about community theatre is that it's there for you in your childhood while you're sort of like figuring out what you want in life, and then it can also be there for you like later if you decide to pursue other things as a career. And good feelings.
And there's something special about the PumpHouse that people that come to work there like to come back. But you've got such a history with us. It's really neat, and we've got your sticker. So when we open up, everybody who's watching, you need to come down and grab one of Rosie's stickers. They're really cool. And I know how cool her drawings are, because she actually designed some Shakespeare pictures for me, which I haven't got with me at the moment, but that are part of the Shakespeare sampler that we do earlier in the year. All the students that came along on that wanted a t-shirt, but they're exclusive. So
that's so great.
I feel very privileged to have an original piece of Rose Northey art.
I was stoked to do it for you.
So you've talked about your favourite memories of the PumpHouse being there. Do you have a favourite performance that you've done, or one that you've seen there that you can talk to us about?
I feel like I really ended with a bang. Ooh. I really ended with a bang because probably one of my favourite shows was Midsummer Night's Dream in 2017. And just, I mean, really it's the people who make it. Just the crew and the cast were amazing, and we really had so much fun. We were just giggling away in the back, and I think we used to bring little feasts for ourselves there, and we would have like sing-alongs. And one of my favorite moments was in the tech rehearsal, which is notoriously this sometimes frustrating long stop-starty sort of time where but super important. We have to give these production people enough time to really hone in on like the lighting and the sound and get those cues right, because we've had all of this practice going up into it, and you can't expect them to just be able to come in on the night without any rehearsal themselves and do like a perfect job. So you really have to give them as much time as possible. But anyway, it ends up being a lot of waiting around for the actors on the night. And the vibe in the cast was so electric that we just started having a sing-along under the stars, because of course we're in the amphitheater and it's all, you know, there's no roof on it, and we had the fairy lights going because it's Midsummer Night's Dream, and we were just all like singing the classic, just Bohemian Rhapsody together, like the entire cast. Yeah, it was a beautiful moment, and it just really kind of represents what that whole experience was like for me. Just so much laughs and just really comfortable feeling around each other.
I have to say that's one of my highlights, because I was involved on the periphery and I was there with the sing-along, and that's going to be one memory I carry with me forever. That was a magical moment. So while you've been in lockdown, what kind of things have you been doing?
I've been drawing a lot. I've been working on a project called White Rabbit Royal Scheduler, and it's a game by Sky Bear Games. It's like a visual novel that is set in Wonderland, just like Alice in Wonderland. And so I've got kind of like all these strange characters and different scenes. I thought I might show you.
Sneak preview.
Here's one. So this is like a tawny, and then there's two of my characters. We've got the King of Spades, and then the White Rabbit who's having a freak out. And the background. So I do the background separately.
Yeah.
And I have kind of color themes, and try and just bring out some of the mood that I'm looking for, because Alice in Wonderland is, you know, notoriously very creepy. But so I guess I kind of wanted to twist it to be like more like kooky than creepy. And then also doing the characters and all sorts of with all sorts of facial expressions.
Do you have a favourite Alice in Wonderland character?
Sorry?
Do you have a favourite Alice in Wonderland character?
Probably the Cheshire Cat, maybe.
The Cheshire Cat?
I don't know. You never know what he's thinking. And also the fact that, I mean, it's a cat is, you know, they're cats. It's hard to hate them. So, yes, I have a picture somewhere of my cat. Okay. I mean, you've seen this, Mags.
They're not quite an exclusive. Well, to the world it is, but not to me. That's cool. That's really cool.
But I've been finding it really hard to write in lockdown. Which, I mean, I think it's been quite a strange thing for everyone, because you feel really safe in New Zealand and in our homes and things, and you've got all of this time since you're not commuting and things, but it's just been very difficult to actually, you know, have that focus, just because you're looking at this complete horror story online, and just like seeing what's happening in like Italy and Spain and the US, and it's just like completely crazy, and we don't know where we're going to be in a couple of months' time, and it's difficult to know how to feel, so I feel like whenever I write, I put, you know, pen to paper or get onto my laptop or whatever, just the things that I write just come out as being like almost like not genuine, or like it feels like petty, or it feels like privileged, or it feels just very difficult to write about anything but, I don't know, it's just a really odd time. I think people are having more breakdowns than usual, it's very strange being in the same place all day and not being able to, you know, go out and hug your family and things. And so, but I'm just trying to be gentle on myself and just say, like, it's okay that you're not writing, and like you'll get back to it at some point. And you can't force these things. So,
and is that the kind of advice you'd like to sort of give out to other creatives out there, that, you know, be gentle with yourself?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. You can't, no one can tell you how to feel. Just because you have time doesn't mean you should be doing like amazing things with it. And it's really an achievement just to kind of get through this and to kind of keep your head up, and just working on yourself in this time is totally, like, that's an okay thing to do, and just be gentle on yourself.
Yeah.
Don't beat yourself up. Yeah.
And I think that's a really good message to send out there, is that, be gentle with yourself, and don't force yourself to do things if you're not feeling it. But I'm sure you'll be back to writing your wonderful poems very soon.
Hopefully.
And we'll get you back up to the PumpHouse to do another performance for us.
That'd be great. Yeah.
Right. I shall mark that in the after we open up again calendar. So we get you to come up and do another performance for us. Yeah. Thank you very much for giving your time today and chatting with us and sharing your wonderful artwork and your real positivity, because it does shine through. It's really nice to have a chat with you. So, Rose, we wish you all the best, and thank you very much for talking to us.